In today's video, you're going to get to see an incredible hot rod. Hello everybody and welcome to Classic Car ChitChat. My name is Kevin. I'm thrilled you're joining me today. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to a gentleman. His name is Reg. Reg owns a stunning 1932 Ford two-door sedan. He bought this car when he was 26 years old. He is now 71 years old and he's been building this car over all of these years. He built the entire thing at home. So, without further ado, let's meet Reg and this incredible 1932 Ford two-door hot rod. Hey Reg, rev the engine. Oh my God. And honk the horn. Beautiful. Turn her off. Come on out, sir. That is one heck of an engine sound. And before we even get into the car, best t-shirt ever. Hotel California, the Eagles.
Yeah, you gotta love the Eagles.
Absolutely. All right, tell me what you got here, sir.
This is a 1932 Ford steel body two-door sedan. I built this car 35 years ago.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
I actually bought the shell when I was like 26, and I'm 71 this year.
Oh my God, well, you're looking good for 71, Reg.
So, and I picked away at it over the years. I didn't go at it full course because we just didn't have the money. We just kind of picked away getting parts, and once I had enough parts to start it, then I started working on it.
Wow.
And it's basically a home-built car. I did the body work, and I did the paint work, and I did the chassis work, and because, you know, back in the day, we just didn't have the money to certainly have anybody else do anything for it.
And you did it in your home garage, or are you a mechanic?
Yeah, all in my home garage. No, I'm not a mechanic, just a car buff.
Oh my God.
Who's been playing around with this stuff forever.
So now, the body that you got, is it more or less intact, or did you have to chop it or
I
adjust
chopped it. I took 3 inches out of it.
Wow.
And the roof, these just had a big open hole in the roof with a canvas top.
Oh.
And this has got an old Malibu station wagon roof in it that I cut out.
With the ridges and that, like it's
with
just perfect.
the ridges in it, which is what I wanted, because it gives it a lot more strength.
Yes, it does.
And other than that, the fenders are fiberglass on it, simply because you can buy steel, but again, it's all about a money issue. You know, we were looking for something we could drive and have fun with, and it didn't matter to me that much about actual originality as far as steel fenders go. It didn't matter much to me.
Well, it's a resto mod, so it really is.
Yeah.
You're kind of retaining an original shape and modifying
it's
it.
you know, it's made to drive it. You know, so you can go out in the highway and run this at 70 miles an hour all day long. You know, and you know, when you're building these, the way they sit is a big factor. You don't want them way up high in the back where there's a big gap between the tire and the fender, or too low for me too. It just to have them sit just the way you want. And this wasn't a big dollar build. This is a home built, you know, on a budget, so to speak.
That's amazing. I love your turn signal lamps. That is a nice little touch.
Yeah, just underneath, and these are stock 1932 headlights that I put a halogen kit in.
My God.
So they're actually halogen high beams. They're really strong.
It's hard to imagine. Like, it's when you see it, it's like it's massive.
Yeah.
But that's how they were built back in the day.
That's where they were, because originally I put a smaller, they call them King Bee headlights on this car, and I didn't like them at all.
Right.
So I actually never ran it. I found these lights, and then I put the kits in them.
Good job.
And the back tail lights these days, the old cars, you know, with the filament bulbs, you couldn't see much out of them, and this one here, these are all LED now.
Beautiful.
So they're really bright, and there's a third brake light up in the back. It's also LED.
Oh, I do like, and you got the Ford logo in there.
Yeah,
too.
so I could actually just touch the brakes, and you can see what I'm talking about
Yes,
as far as
I'd like that.
how bright they are.
Oh yes, that is extraordinary.
And
Very nice.
you want that in these cars
For sure.
because people sometimes start looking at the car and not paying attention. So you need to have something that
Yep.
they know.
Sort of jars them a little bit because they get a little bit too close for comfort.
Well, that's
sometimes.
what happens, right?
My God.
And it happens with not just me, with all the guys with
sure.
the older cars, that you got to be careful.
What was the original color of the car or the body when you got it?
It was really kind of like what paint was left was some dark blue, like,
Okay.
because they only had a couple of colors available back
Yeah.
then, right? You know, Henry Ford just wanted stuff the paint that dried quickly,
Yes, practical, right?
you know? So there wasn't a big selection of colors.
So in terms of the engine, what powers this thing now?
This has actually got a Chevy 355 in it.
Okay.
Reason being, back in the day, you could get GM stuff. I mean, as far as the aluminum parts and the intake manifolds and the bracketry and stuff for Chevys a lot easier than you could for Fords. Now it has changed somewhat.
Interesting.
And if I had to do it all over again, I might probably put a Ford in it. But back in the day, it was the way people did it, simply because they fit better.
Is it possible to see the engine?
Sure, yeah. We can. Liam, come here for a sec, buddy.
And this is your grandson.
This is my grandson, Liam.
Hello, Liam. You thought you were going to hide, didn't you? Nice try.
Hey, Liam, come over to this side. So there it is. It's outfitted for air conditioning.
Just be quiet for a minute.
Oh.
That is extraordinary. Wow. You've done an amazing job. Okay, now talk. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just had to take it in.
And you know, this is over the years, and like I say, it is a driver, so it's not cleaned up perfectly under the hood, but once every couple of years I take all the hood sides and everything off and I polish everything again so it looks fresh. But when you drive them, they're gonna get like that. But it still looks, you know, it's more than reasonable.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Ah. Now, I guess to access this, these panels and everything would
Yeah,
come
these
off,
just
so you
come
got-
off.
Beautiful.
I put little pegs down at the bottom, so you undo these bolts at the top and it just pops off.
You've really thought this out well.
And the hood, this bracketry, it'll open from either side. Or
Very
you can open both sides and just pop the hood off.
Oh, like the Canada arm.
Kind of deal, yeah, yeah.
We're at the airport here. I figured that's kind of fitting. But
So
there you go.
again, you know, on a limited budget, you know, you just gotta be pretty versatile and try to get everything to look right without blowing your brains out.
Yeah.
Because these days, building anything costs a fortune, right?
So I have to ask a question. The radiator doesn't look that big, but it's enough to keep everything
Yeah,
cool?
it's a 4-core aluminum radiator. So it is pretty big, and in actual fact, there's an air conditioning condenser on the front,
Oh, I see. Yes, yes.
right?
So it's got all the modern bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So power brakes.
Yeah, it's got power brakes, no power steering, but it's fairly easy to steer.
Yeah.
And power windows and tilt wheel and air conditioning and
Wow.
all you need, really.
And in terms of suspension, what did you go with?
The rear here is got parallel leaf,
Okay.
which is tried and proven in my opinion.
Right.
And then the front is a beam with a 4-bar
Amazing.
with shocks. That's it. It's a little rough ride, but that's just the way they were. But on a 32, it's probably the nicest looking front end to be a beam.
Definitely. I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I try to keep it. I tried to keep the steel body as close to original as I could. But you certainly need to chop them.
Yes.
Otherwise, they just look too boxy
Too
up top.
boxy for, especially for a hot rod style.
Yeah.
Now I notice you have the one wiper, and that's sufficient to
That's
do
the
a
way they
decent
were.
job?
Yeah.
Okay.
The same
But
as...
it's not a vacuum wiper anymore. It's electric.
No,
now, right?
it's electric.
Yeah.
And, you know, these cars originally only had the lock on the passenger door.
Yes, I heard about
Because, you know, guys would pull up with their wives and they'd get out the driver's side and they did come out, let their wives out back in the day and then lock the door.
that. Yes.
And the same thing, they get in the car, they'd unlock the passenger door, open it up for the wives, and then...
Yeah, chivalry seems to have
I
been
guess,
lost
yeah.
over the years. Now we
Now
we try and get our wives to open the
Now it's
doors.
more slam the door than anything else.
Oh, let's not go there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. How much space in the trunk here?
There is no trunk.
There isn't. Okay, is that where the fuel and everything
Yeah, the
is?
fuel tank on a
Yep.
32 is right there. That is the
That
fuel
is-
tank.
Okay. So if you had to run to the stores to get, I don't know, shopping, groceries, beer, you'd have to kind of use the back
You'd
seat?
have to use the back seat.
Right. Now the paintwork, who did this?
I did.
No.
Yeah, I painted this car.
The pinstriping too?
No, I didn't do the pinstriping.
Oh, I
A
was
friend of
gonna
mine, Brent, he goes by the striping name of Nibs.
Nibs,
He
okay.
did the striping.
And you painted this?
I painted this, yeah, over 20 years ago. Body.
Okay.
But the fenders and everything I painted at home in the garage.
Oh my God. Very, very fine job indeed. You've done a beautiful job here. Just lovely. I love your rims too. They are so
thanks.
different. Very special. How big are the tires and the wheels in the front then?
Well, the fronts are 15 by 6 and the rears are 15 by 8.
Wow. Talk about amount of rubber on those tires.
Yeah, well, and you know, these cars, you know, that you want to get a good high profile tire to give you a better ride.
Look at the spacing in there too. You've done a fabulous job. Excellent, Reggie. May we take a look inside?
Sure.
Where are these seats from? They vaguely look familiar.
Yeah,
for
these
some
seats
reason.
are actually out of an Eagle Talon.
Are they really?
The front and rear seats. You know, it's funny because I had saved some Toyota Supra seats.
Okay.
And I had them for years. It's the ones with the speakers and the headrests.
Yes, yes.
And
My
plan
was
was to have those reupholstered and put those in the car and
Right.
all fine and dandy. And then I took him into an upholstery shop and I said, yeah, I'd like to have these seats reupholstered. And he said, oh yeah, well the seats are gonna be like $900 each.
What?
I went, sorry? When he said that again, the first dumpster I went by, I threw the seats in the garbage.
Wow, why
And
so
then-
much money?
Oh, it was like ridiculous. So then I thought, well, I ended up bought these seats to put in, and then I bought an industrial sewing machine so I could make my own door panels and stuff.
Oh, for crying out
Because, anyways, yeah,
loud. Reg,
it's like, you know,
that is impressive.
I always tell people, car guys, no brains, eh? Otherwise, why would you do all that, right?
That's fabulous. Your steering wheel is exquisite.
Yeah, it
That
kind of
is so
suits
di-
the car.
Oh, totally. Where'd you even find something like this?
Oh, they're available. You can see them.
That is nice. I just love the clean look inside. The red paint continues. You got vents in the right places. Like, it's just fantastic. So Liam, are you hoping to drive this one day when you're older?
Maybe.
Maybe, if your grandpa lets you. Wow, it's beautiful. Reg,
So you want to go for a little ride?
let's do that.
Okay. You know, like I say, it's a good driver, and we put, I can't see right now, but there's about 33,000 miles with this speedometer.
Wow.
Because originally I put an analog speedometer in it that had a cable, and there's just so little room in this
Yes.
that I ended up never hooking it up. We drove for a couple of years with no speedometer, and then I got this one, which is an electronic.
Fantastic. Now, I wanted to ask you, beside the speedometer on the left, there's a little bar. What is that? Indicator lights in there?
Yeah, it shows park, reverse, neutral, drive.
Right in there?
Yeah.
Wow. What is the lever here then? Oh, for crying out loud. You have an ashtray in this thing too?
Well, we just have
Just a lighter.
we actually have an ashtray too right
Oh,
here.
you do? Yes. Oh, the old Canadian Tire special.
And we put those in our lawn chairs. Unfortunately, I still smoke.
Oh,
so.
you do indeed. All right. I love the sound of this. And you've got a little switch here that does some magic as well, Reg.
Yeah, I've got a switch that opens exhaust up. So see,
Yes, you do that to annoy the neighbors.
yeah, it's just for fun. That's all it is.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. Is it comfy back there?
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, I see you got your radio back there too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a nice touch.
And I have a remote down here.
Perfect. So, Reg, what was the very first car you ever had?
The very first one I had,
in the day.
I had a '63 Fairlane. It was my first car.
Yes. The rest is history. I love your gauges.
Yeah, these are VDO gauges,
Very
which is a
nice.
good quality gauge. Some stuff you can't skimp on.
Yes.
You know, brakes, front end, that type of thing, and gauges too. I've seen so many people have trouble with gauges
Right.
when they bought cheap stuff, and these have been great ever since we put them in. No problems.
Now, your control mechanism for your air conditioning and everything,
Air conditioning and heat.
where's all that from? Like the panel?
This is actually from Vintage Air
Okay. So they
Which-
sell it as a kit.
as a kit, a package, and then you can upgrade the package as far as like this panel is an upgrade because
Right.
the original one it's just plastic with some knobs.
Got it.
And this is more of a billet.
Yes, it looks
Hot rod
it looks
type
great.
look, right?
And I like that stainless steely finish, a more industrial appearance to
Yeah.
it as well. That's fabulous. And how many years did you say you had this for?
I bought this shell when I was like 26 years old.
My God.
And like I say, this year I turned 71 and I still have it. And we've had a few other cars over the years, and some of them I did a lot of work on, but this was the only one that was scratch built.
Yes.
So it had more meaning to me than the rest. So
Definitely.
yeah, it's a 1932 Ford is really the quintessential hot rod.
Yes.
Because when I bought this shell,
Yep.
you could buy a Model A shell in about the same condition for, say, $1,500.
Okay.
And when I bought this shell, I paid $2,500. And I
Right.
thought, well, a 32 to me has a little more meaning than a Model A.
Right.
So, and the cost of building it would be about the same. So I'll just spend the extra $1,000 now, which I'm really glad I did.
Good for you.
And ended up with the
Okay,
32.
Reg and Liam, I have to say thank you. This is an absolutely beautiful machine. Today's event was kind of last minute. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's
you
been
brought
fun.
Liam too.
It's been fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, okay.